Hey, how's it going?
Nah, going good, man. How are you?
I'm good, I'm good. So, I just heard you were talking about saying that the Quran is corrupted and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought it was like you were talking about the Islamic dilemma.
Well,
Is that what you're trying to talk about?
technically, yeah, that's yeah, it's connected to that.
Yeah, well, I mean that's just like an argument, David Wood brought it up and it's just really overused. And so what exactly were you saying about like how the Quran is corrupted?
So when you say it's overused, have you guys defeated it? Have you come up with the solution to that? Or
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if I don't know if you know this YouTuber, his name is Deen Responds. He absolutely cooked Testify
mm.
and David Wood on the argument.
And do you remember? I don't know if you hear me. Do you remember the argument that he used to cook them?
Who the argument that
The in
David Wood's
response
making?
used. No, do you know? Do you
Oh
remember?
yeah, okay.
Okay, yeah.
So for example, right? So David Wood, he he was saying that
No,
the
I'm saying that. Do you remember the argument that Deen used to cook them? Because we're about to do it right now. So I want to make sure you're ready for
yeah,
it.
yeah. So you're aware of what the Islamic dilemma is, right?
Of course, everybody knows that now. So yeah,
Yeah. So what is it? It's that the Quran affirms the previous scriptures as a whole, right?
yep.
That's what it is.
Uh huh.
Yeah. So I this whole argument is based off of this assumption that it's like it's affirming every single little thing in the previous scriptures when it's just a general affirmation.
Can you define a general
And I'll give you
affirmation?
an example.
No, can you
What was
define
that?
that? Can you define a general affirmation? What is that?
Um, like the previous scriptures, like the Bible, the original Bible I'm talking about,
No,
not the
when you say
corrupted.
general, what do you mean about that?
The general truths,
Which is
how would I explain it?
so. For example, if I said that
Like not every single detail, not detail. That's what I mean.
so if I said that I generally affirm that Muhammad was a good man, am I saying that he's bad, but he's a little bit good, or he's good? Well, what do you mean when you say general? Because I want to see.
Well, here's an example, right? I'll give you an example. In the Bible, when Jesus affirms what the Pharisees do.
Well, yeah, what they say, not what they do.
Okay, yeah, what they say, whatever.
No, don't say whatever.
Now does
It's
that mean
important.
now? Okay, yeah. Now does that mean to affirm every single little thing?
Well, Jesus puts a qualifier there. He said when they are sitting on Moses' seat, when they are reading from the
Yeah. So what's
Torah.
that seat?
Yeah, the Torah.
How is that the Torah? Where do you get that from?
Moses' seat. Who was given?
Do you
What
have
was
a
given to Moses? Moses came with the law.
yeah the Torah?
Yeah, so when they are quoting
But
the scriptures, the
do
Torah,
you
we should affirm everything they say, because everything they say is from the Torah is true.
okay? But that's not true. Not everything they say is true.
Yeah, if they
You know
are
what I mean?
quoting from the Torah, it is true. That's what the whole point of
How
Jesus.
where does it say when they are quoting from the Torah?
When they are sitting, they're sitting on Moses' seat.
But where do you get that definition?
Well, when they are
Do you
sitting on
have
Moses'
a
seat,
exegesis?
what is Moses' seat? Do you know what that is?
I have no clue.
I just told
Do you
you.
have like an exegesis of it?
Well, what was given to Moses? It's simple. So do you think that there is
Yeah,
this
but
chair that Moses had and this sits on it, or they are referring to the Torah that
no, I
Moses
just
was
have no
given?
clue what it is. I was just wondering if you have like an exegesis of it.
You don't. I mean, you got to use your common sense, bro. You don't just throw away your common sense.
Yeah, well, it can mean something else other than a
Like a
seat
chair.
or the Torah.
So it can mean like a chair. When it said Moses sit, it's referring to a
No,
simple
I
chair.
mean it can mean. I said it can mean something else
It means the
other than a
authority of
seat
Moses.
or the Torah.
Yeah, the authority of Moses,
But
which will be
Moses
his law,
wasn't
the Torah.
Moses. Yeah, but like it's corrupted. The the, the Torah was corrupted, so there's no way
Okay,
to
let's
know
talk
if it
about
was
that
actually the
then. So,
authority of Moses.
the reason we even got there is because you quoted me that verse, trying to say that our general confirmation means you're only confirming part of it, not the whole thing. That's you. You did that. You took me to that. So leave that alone, because
Yeah,
that
yeah.
cannot help you. All right.
The general confirmation, yeah.
Well, again, I want you to define what general means. When you say general confirmation, what do you mean about that? Without you appealing to that Moses seat example.
So you're asking what a general means?
Yeah, I want to know, what do you mean about when you say it's generally confirmed by the Torah and the Injil? What is that? What is that?
So it means not every single little detail, because obviously since the Torah and um, the Bible were revealed, not every doctrine found in the Bible, the original Bible, like well, I mean, not every single law. That's what I mean. Is found in the Quran. You know what I mean? So it's general.
That's the whole dilemma.
The main thing:
So,
belief in one God,
no,
belief in the prophet sent by God.
brother, the Quran confirming the Torah and the contradicting it, that is the whole dilemma. So I need you for, let's make this easy.
My guy, okay. Hold on. So do you actually believe that the original Torah sent by Moses is the same one that we have today?
Yes.
Same with the Bible?
Same one.
So you also believe that the Bible... Okay. So you believe the Bible is not corrupted?
The Bible's not
Right,
corrupted.
pretty much, obviously, 'cause you're Christian.
No, it's not. Obviously, yeah.
I mean, okay. So,
Yeah, you muted, bro. You gotta unmute. He probably got a phone call. Yeah, brother, you telling me that the Quran contradicts the Torah.
Okay, so
that is the whole dilemma. Go on, bro.
I didn't say it contradicts the Torah.
You said some stories.
It contradicts, like, the corrupted. Yeah.
Okay.
So, like, the reason why I believe, like, the Bible is corrupted, other than, like, the Quran telling us...
the Quran doesn't say... Hold on, bro. You just made a false claim. I gotta stop you there. There's nowhere in the Quran that says that the Torah or the Injil has been corrupted. You guys assert that in the Quran.
They add words to it. They add words to the Torah. It says that in the Quran.
Give me a verse where it says that they textually added the words to the Torah.
Yeah, give me a sec.
Well, if that's the arguments that Deen used to destroy David Wood and to testify, anyway, then I don't know, man. Did he destroy them? I don't. I mean, you're doing a pretty terrible job, man. I hope this is not the same argument that he used. Guys, make sure you guys are liking the stream, man. I should see at least 35 likes on YouTube. Come on, guys. We got our Orap in the building. Hit the like button. You better tell him. Tell him. So they don't listen. I don't know why they don't listen. It says in jail, it goes good news. Jesus is the good news. And that he was sent the good news. Don't they actually listen? They never listen. They never listen. If you actually ask them, well, what is this good news that Jesus fulfilled or was sent with, they can't really tell you anything. Because according to them, Jesus is a failure. According to them, Jesus is a failure. I should do that as my next topic. I think that would be also a beautiful topic.
So it's Surah 5, verse 41, I believe.
Okay, let's read it. You said 541?
Yeah.
Oh, 541. Okay. Okay, let's see here. O messenger, actually, let me say international here. So, O messenger, let them not grieve you who hastened into disbelief. Those who say we believe with their mouths, but their heart believe not. And from among the Jews, not all of them, from among the Jews, there are evil listeners to falsehood, listening to another people who have not come to you. They distort words beyond their proper usage, saying, if you are given this, take it. But if you are not given it, then be aware. Then when Allah intends fitna, never will you possess power to do for him a thing again. Allah, this is terrible, bro. Those are the ones of whom Allah does not intend purify their hearts. For them in this world is disgrace, and for them in the hereafter is a greater punishment. So how are they distorting the words from the proper usage? How are they doing that? Textually or just by by their words, by speaking it?
Either or. I haven't read the exegesis on this verse, but
They're distorting it with their tongue. That's why it says a saying, right? That's how they distort that. They're misrepresenting what the Torah says. That's not
yeah. Well, I
textually
mean,
changing
the
the
Torah
Torah.
before it was written, it was spread orally, and then it was written.
No, well, you can say that,
Yeah,
but okay.
which is
So,
why they distorted it orally, and then they wrote down the distorted version.
well, that's not true because literally right now you're
Well,
quoting five.
what is
Hold on,
your
hold
point
on.
of bringing up?
Look what 543 says. Just two verses later, it says, "But how is that they come to you for judgment while they have the Torah?" So the Torah was already written, in which is the judgment of Allah. That's the next verse. Two verses later, and
Yeah, but if you look at Asbab and Nuzul, which means like the reasons for the verse being
mhm.
revealed, to that verse, the question that they asked the prophet, the question that they asked, it was already it was one of the verses that were not distorted, I believe,
Come on,
and
bro.
it was already in their book.
So this is your logic here. You said here that
Which
on
is
41 that they distorted the Torah. Again, the Quran here doesn't say textually; it says by their tongue. And he was like, yes, they did it by their tongue at
okay, yeah,
first,
but
but later.
I
Hold on,
already
but
explained
okay.
that.
I'm getting to it. You said they distorted with their tongue here, and then they wrote down the distortion, right? When
Yeah,
they
but
write
that
it.
doesn't mean they distorted the whole entire thing,
So
which hence brings me back to the
again,
general affirmation.
again, first of all, you had to prove that this is before it was written down, because you see here, literally two verses later, Allah says that they had the Torah with them, written down with them, and there were judgment in
Two
it.
verses later does not signify that it happened just after. If you don't know
Look,
about like how the Quran was revealed,
e-
it was
even
not revealed in the same order
so, brother,
that it
even the
was.
next verse here, this is a continuation of it. It says that there are evil listeners to falsehood. This is 42, by the way. There are evil listeners to falsehood, devourer of what is unlawful. So if they come to you, O Muhammad, judge between them and turn away from them. And if you turn away from them, never will they harm you at all. And if you judge between them with justice, indeed Allah loves those who act justly. This is a continuation of it. And then it goes on to say, but how? This is a continuation, bro. But how are they coming to you when they have the Torah, which is, it has the judgment in
Yeah,
it?
yeah, which I explained, because not the whole thing was corrupted.
Okay, so go to 285 real quick. I want to show something. So since you said that some part of it was corrupted, but not the whole thing, listen to what 285 says. Unless you just want to say Allah, you're just a terrible communicator here. 285 says, it says, then say, are those the ones who unlove one another and evict a party of your people from their homes, cooperating against them in sin and aggression? And if they come to you as captive, you ransom them, although the eviction was forbidden to you. So do you believe in part of the scriptures and disbelieve in part? And Allah goes to say that those who do that, they would be they would be disgraced here today and in the afterlife.
Sorry, I completely I didn't hear you. What chapter and verse was it?
This is chapter 285.
Chapter 3, verse 85.
Chapter 2, Surah Al-Baqarah.
Oh, okay, chapter.
Yeah, unless you just want to say that Allah, he really not good at communicating, which, I mean, that's why I say every time when I say that Torah is corrupted. Yeah, he's reading it, guys. Let's give him a time. Let's give him time. So the whole point he's trying to make for you guys who just joined here, he's saying that, okay, they corrupted the Torah orally, and the people wrote down the corrupted orally Torah, according to him. But that's not even what's going on. This is not even all of them that was misrepresenting what the Torah says. It's some of them, right? Not even that. The Quran, that 2 verses later, it goes on to say they should not come to you. They have the Torah with them, and in the Torah there's guidance. There's guidance and light in it, so they don't need you, Muhammad. That's what Allah is telling Muhammad. It makes no darn sense.
Yeah, So your argument is, uh, if they accept some of the stuff and reject the other stuff, that
Allah is gonna
means
disgrace him today in his life and hereafter.
okay. So what's the argument there?
Well, you are telling me that I should, some part of his corrupted and I should not follow it, but follow the uncorrupted part. That's what you're telling me right now.
Yeah, which is the same thing going on here. I mean,
What?
uh,
Allah is saying
they
if you do that, he's gonna disgrace you.
yeah. I mean, if you choose to listen to some part of the book and then the other part of the book you don't like, so you like go ask the prophet like,
No, it doesn't say nothing about
questions about.
asking the prophet. There's not add to the Quran, bro.
So I'm confused what your point is.
So here's my whole point here. You said that the Torah got corrupted orally and they wrote down the corrupted Torah. That's what you
Yeah.
said. But then you have next verse, or 2 verses later, saying that they have the Torah with them and there is judgment in it and they don't need Muhammad because they have the Torah. And I showed you a verse what it says.
No, that's not true.
That's
Where
what
does it say they don't need?
340. That was 543. You quoted 541.
Okay, but where does it say they don't need the prophet?
543.
It says they don't need the prophet, or they don't need that prophet for that specific judgment.
Well, yeah, they don't need Muhammad for that judgment. It doesn't matter. They don't need him. It says, why do they come
Yeah,
to
because
you?
that part wasn't corrupted.
Again, it's like you're not hearing what I'm saying. How do you know that that part wasn't corrupted? How do you know that?
Because the Quran says so.
Because that's circular. That's a circle.
No, it's not.
Because the Quran says so.
Not.
So here's what we have.
That's the same reason why you're saying the Bible says so.
No, I haven't even mentioned the Bible yet. So this is what we have, bro. We have the Quran affirming the Torah to be uncorrupted because it says the Torah, the judgment and the light is in it. They don't need Muhammad for judgment, right? That's 2 verses later. And the verse you quoted me, it doesn't even say that they corrupted the Torah textually. It says that they misrepresented what the Torah.
It says it everywhere else in the Quran.
Where? That's the only verse you gave me. Where else?
I got you. I'll give you another one.
Now, before you do that, can you first admit that chapter 5, 41, it only says that they corrupted, by misrepresenting it?
What do you mean?
Can you
misrepresenting the verse?
Yes, that's how they distort it, by misrepresenting the verse, misrepresenting what it says.
Well, I can't really speak to that. I'm not as knowledgeable.
That's what we just read it.
Yeah, but I'm not sure. Like some verses they might have misrepresented it. Some verses they might have actually distorted it, like orally and via text.
No, look, this is what I'm asking. According to the verse, according to verse 41, do you want me to read it again, bro? Is it really that hard to get? You want me to read it again?
You're not formulating your questions good.
Okay, this is my question. According to 41, which is the verse that you quoted me, supposedly where the corruption happened. According to verse 41, can you admit that they distorted the Torah by misrepresenting what it says?
They distorted it.
By misrepresenting what it says, right?
What it originally said.
For example, if I said that the Quran mentions me as the last prophet, am I not corrupting the Quran?
If you say you're the last prophet,
yes,
you're not corrupting the Quran. But if you go in the Quran and you say that you are the last prophet, then that's corrupting it.
Okay, so again, I want to make sure that I heard you. If I said that the Quran says Stephen is the last prophet, I'm not corrupting the Quran?
If you said that it says in the Quran that Stephen is the last prophet, but it doesn't say that, then yeah, you corrupted it. But if you're like, if you didn't understand the verse correctly,
I guess I just corrupted the Quran then. Yes, I'm the last. According to the Quran, I am the last prophet.
Bro, what? That is not what I said.
You said that yes, it is a corruption. That's what you just said.
If you go into the Quran and change the words, and you spread the Quran to other people, saying that Steve or whatever your name is, sorry, is the last prophet, then that's corruption. But
Okay.
if you didn't understand the verse, right, and you misunderstood it to mean that somehow mean that you are the last prophet, then that's just you not understanding it.
Again, these are some of the people. It's not all of them. They are misrepresenting what the Torah is saying. Just like how you Muslim are all misrepresenting what the Quran says. Again, if I misrepresent what the Quran says, am I corrupting the Quran?
My God, what do you mean by misrepresent?
Yeah, bad. You gotta go down. What do I mean by misrepresent? Okay. All right.